Hello and welcome back to another episode of Tips and Tricks. My name is Maiya and today we have a very exciting episode because I'm going to be chatting to Joey, who's one of the co-founders here at Viddyoze, all about online courses and how you can create one to make a huge profit. Online courses is a booming industry with the online education market set to reach $350 billion by 2025. That's a lot of money, by the way, if you didn't know. If you're like me and you spent a lot of money going to university and then now do a job that's got absolutely nothing to do with your degree and instead is stuff that you learn yourself by doing online courses, then you'll feel very bitter about the fact that that happened. And you might want to learn how to make online courses yourself so you can get on that train of making money. Yeah. So before we chat to Joey, make sure you are subscribed so you never miss a video, and give this video a preemptive thumbs up because I know you're going to enjoy it, and leave us a comment down below to say hi and enjoy. Let's talk a little bit about your background with online courses. I know you've made quite a lot and that's why we're interviewing you here today, to kind of get your background, why you went into it, how you went into it, everything like that.
In terms of why, I just needed to find a way to make some money online, really. One of the things that I saw a lot of was experts basically taking their insight offline and teaching people on the internet. Back when I was starting out, it wasn't as popular as it is now. So there were no platforms like Udemy, lynda.com, and things like that back then for people to go and take online courses. It was just a good way for me to start my own business. I felt like I had some expertise that I could teach. I'm not like a trained teacher or whatever, and I definitely wasn't an expert to the degree of like I wasn't a super professional videographer or anything. It's just that I knew some things that I thought I could package up and teach to a certain portion of people online. Like I basically taught people about how to create a video script. That was my first course, was like, how do you put a script together and then sell a product using the script? And then from that, I went into, how do you make a bigger video that you're gonna sell a product with? And then it just evolved from there, really.
Yeah, so you mentioned not being an expert. So do you think in order to start, so someone wants to start an online course, and they know maybe a little bit about weight loss because they've had their own weight loss journey, do you think that they need a PT qualification in order to make an online course?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I've met a lot of PTs that don't know anything about nutrition, which is quite alarming, really. Based on that alone, I don't think you need to go and get a certificate to say that you know how to do it.
Yeah.
And I think it goes with any industry. I think particular markets, maybe you do need something. Like if you were going to go and become like a lawyer online and you were going to offer legal advice online, you'd probably need to have some kind of foundational knowledge to that. I didn't get a professional qualification as a videographer to start teaching people how to do videos. And the way you got to think about it is everyone has something in their head that someone else doesn't. And it's because of experience. If you're a parent, you're part of an audience that has gone through the experience of having a kid, whereas there's loads of people that haven't, literally millions. So, you've got an audience there that you could be teaching about what your experiences were with raising a child, for instance. What did you learn? What should you not do? What should you do? The interesting thing is I would prefer to watch a video of someone at home. I'd just watch a dad at home who is just picking this up for the first time over going and buying a book from a shop and reading it, because that's the world we live in now. It's I want to find someone I can relate with, that's going through what I'm going through. So yes, parenthood is a very big industry, but then you wouldn't just go and make a generic parenthood book. You'd go and say, well, I'm gonna aim it at 25 to 35-year-old guys because I can relate with that age group. I could even go more niche and say, well, I've got a son, so I'm gonna do it for 25 to 35-year-old guys who are raising a son, for example. So now I've become really micro in my targeting. They'll probably listen to me more than they would listening to a book by someone that's just doing a generic kind of group education on parenthood, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely. So they don't fall under all of it. So a book as a whole, you might be like, oh, that bit doesn't refer to me, that bit doesn't refer to me. So coming from experience-wise, you feel like as long as you have that experience, that particular thing, you can really hit a niche that is in that same bracket as you.
I mean, I'm not a parenting expert, but I just like top of my head, I can think of things right now. It's like, right, what do you do if you're a dad who is finding it hard to connect with your kid in the first 3 to 6 months? Every dad has it, because generally kid will be like latched to their mum for the first 3 to 6 months. It's just nature. You might find that in some books, but in general books you might not. So it's just little things like that. So that's what I did with my video thing. It was like, right, I'm not going to go and just teach everyone how to make a video. I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm going to teach other entrepreneurs how they can make better marketing videos for their small business or for their new business on a shoestring budget. And that's how I found my little kind of market.
Yeah. So did you ever have like aspirations to teach? What do you think drew you to teaching something rather than like the doing aspect of filming?
I didn't want to teach, and I don't particularly like it that much. It's the balance of like selling your time for money, basically. So if I'm a videographer, I could go and film all these businesses like on this estate. It will take me months to do that, and then I could make my money back, and I'll do all right. But if I made a course that taught them all how to do it, I could sell it to everybody here at the same time without me necessarily having to do anything. And I can sell it to other estates that aren't here. I can sell it to anybody. Same with like PTs. Like during the pandemic was a really interesting time for PTs, because a lot of PTs do their stuff one-to-one. I mean, that's how I started with a one-to-one trainer, but then as time went on, I got more comfortable with it. So it's like now I just talk to my trainer on WhatsApp and they do my programming, and it's all, I can do it without necessarily being there with someone. So my PT now has transformed their business to a digital business. So I remember when we used to talk, when we were face to face, and it'd always say, my day is completely backed up because I'm working from 6 a.m. until like 9 p.m. seeing clients. And I'd just say, man, like, just make a course, teach people online, because you'll end up, you could sell to 20 times the amount of people you're working with right now. Charge them slightly less, but you can sell to more people. And especially today, like pandemic-wise, it's like, it's the best time to be doing this now, because people are more inclined to wanting to do things remotely, doing it from home. About 6 or 7 years ago, when I first got into this, all the marketers used to talk about how we're transforming into a digital information age. Like the entire world was changing into this digital thing where everything was going to be consumed digitally, and that was it. And now we can really see how that's happening. The world's changing, so I think it's really important right now more than ever for entrepreneurs, people that are getting into business, to start thinking about how can I take my information that I have in my head and put it onto the internet.
So your courses were pretty successful. What do you think was the main reason for this?
The main kind of method that I use to really like gain exposure was basically tapping into like affiliates. So what that means is, just to put some foundation to it, so an affiliate would be somebody that has an audience that is relevant to whatever it is you're selling. So let's take it into more of a physical thing. So I don't know, like Game, for example, in the high street, or GameStop, if you're listening in America, is essentially like a high level affiliate for Sony, Microsoft. They would then put it into a games retailer, and the retailer would then sell it on, so they make a cut. So what I did was I created my own affiliate program and just said, if you go and show your customers my product, I'll basically pay you X percentage. And that was it. I think I sold about 3,000 copies of the first course. So, I think we did about 65K in sales, and I would have pocketed about half of that just for myself. And sometimes you only need 1 or 2 affiliates, like you just need some really good people. So if you're in the fitness industry, then you've got loads of options, because you've got so many brands and products and influencers that do fitness related stuff. Sometimes an affiliate partnership can be a company. Like we, for example, want to partner up with an audio platform because we can sell their audio platform to our customers and they can sell videos to their customers. So that's more of like a bigger affiliate partnership.
So these affiliates, when you started out, where were you finding them? Because say I'm a beginner and I have no clue, and the Instagram ones are probably a bit easier because you'd be able to find like some fitnessy people. But say you were making videos about how to make videos, where did you find these affiliates?
Sometimes you have to like narrow it down a bit. So it's like, if I just said, right, I teach people how to make video, then that affiliate pool is like almost too big because it's like, it's not specific enough. Like if I just went to like, I don't know, Philip Bloom, for example, he's got a massive audience. He does really high level reviews of camera gear and stuff like that. So if I went to him and just said, oh, I've got a video course, now his audience is relevant because they're interested in video. But the problem is that he's got that much of a wide appeal. It's like, I'll probably only cater to like 5% of his audience because his audience is a mixture of people who are experienced, people who are not so experienced, all the way to people who literally haven't even touched a camera. Like me, for example, I used to watch Philip Bloom when I hadn't even handled a camera yet. So I might appeal to some of his audience and that's okay. But what I'd rather do is go to someone and say, you know, like a business, like an entrepreneur online who might have an audience that does marketing, for example. That's a lot more specific.
Yeah, so kind of having a look online and then finding them. Is there any kind of sites that you can join?
Yeah, so
that have groups?
ClickBank is a good place to go. So what you do is you just basically go and find other vendors. So they're not necessarily posing as an affiliate. They're not going to come and say, I'm an affiliate, give me your product. What normally you would do is like, you would go onto an online platform like ClickBank, and you would look for people that are selling similar stuff to you already. So if we take it to fitness, it's like, if I had a supplement, I could go to a gym, like a local gym, like an independent local gym, and say, right, so your service is basically giving people a place to work out, so that's their product, right? My product is a supplement. So I'll say to the local gym, look, you stock my supplement and we'll basically split the profits. And as an exchange, what I'll do is all the audience that I have coming in, I can refer them back to your gym, as an example.
So what was the progression for your next few courses, and what do you think caused that progression?
After the first one, like I started to create a bit of a buzz around my brand. Quite a few people started to get to know me as an expert. So like that really allowed me to piggyback off that success. And just because of the initial success, I now had a customer base. So what I did was I started selling to my customers internally. So I had about 3,000 customers. So it was like, look, if you pay me a couple of grand, like I'll do 6 kind of interactive sessions with you on a webinar, for example. So I sold like 40 or 50 people into like a coaching program. And on that coaching program, I think it was 8 weeks of coaching where I taught people about how to put a video together and how to kind of like build it out and that kind of thing. To be honest, I wasn't teaching anything very different to what they got in the course. It's just that people were willing to pay you more money to have more of a personal experience. If you had a fitness program that was created by a really well-known trainer and you bought their course, you might get their course for £100. But then if you went to the trainer and said, can we do a month of intensive work together? They're not going to teach you anything different, but it's just because you're doing it one-to-one, you pay more money basically.
Yeah, and you have that chance for questions and answers and stuff, don't you? It's more interactive.
Different experience. Same knowledge, different experience.
So do you think doing something like that is like a natural progression for a course to then make more income in the long run?
100%, yeah. The coaching program was about $2,500 to $3,000, and I sold about 50 people onto that program. So that was like a massive influx for me to then start building upon that. So the first course was more about kind of like basic stuff like scripting and that. And then later on I'd done like a bigger course on cameras and all of that kind of stuff. And then took a big break after that, launched Viddyoze. So I didn't do any teaching or anything like that for a long time. Until 2020 we launched Fade to Black. And then we also made a course called Expert, which kind of relates to what we're talking about here. It's about how to become an expert online, basically.
What do you think your experience was different from the first courses you made compared to Fade to Black? What did you learn and implement from that time you took off?
I think some big takeaways were like, you don't have to try and teach everything in one course. I think a lot of people get hung up on this idea that they have to make their course really big, really elaborate and go into loads of detail. It took me a while to learn that people pay for the quality and rather than the quantity. Another one, I guess, was just about like how to create a proper framework. And a framework basically is like what do you put in the course basically? Like what's the contents of the course? When you're creating a course, like you're looking to try and solve a problem basically. So if you're creating a fitness course, what is the problem you're trying to solve? Are you trying to get people to lose weight? Okay, great, but that's a very big problem. So what you would do is you would narrow it down. So you'd say, I'm trying to help women or men lose weight for an X experience or for something. So for example, Mike Cheng, really good influencer, big YouTuber, he used to do courses on specifically for guys who basically want to get six-pack abs during the summertime. Like that's pretty much what he used to do. There was Kino Body, I don't remember what his name was, but Kino Body taught men and women about how they can use intermittent fasting to get shredded, basically. Kino Body is a good example, actually, because when you go to their site, what you'll see is like they quiz you. So they'll say, right, are you a guy or a girl? Are you overweight or are you really thin? Are you trying to bulk up or are you trying to shred down? Like, so they really try and like micro target the person. And then based on your answers, they'll show you a different course. So that's what a framework's for. It's like, it's designed to basically give you a specific person that you're trying to sell to. And that makes your course a lot more successful because people can relate with it and they'll actually apply it more specifically.
What do you think someone would have to do in order to differentiate themselves between just watching something on YouTube, because you get so much free content on YouTube nowadays, compared to watching your course?
The issue with YouTube videos, right, is like if you want to go and learn, let's say you want to go and learn how to get in shape. Now, you might be able to go and watch a video on how to do compound lifts, right? Okay, cool, I know how to do compound lifts. Right, how do you do isolation work? Oh, what's isolation work? Now I have to go and learn that. Do you know what I mean? So then it becomes this like, almost like this race of like, not a race, it's almost like a relay. Like you're going like from one place to another, trying to find all these different bits of information that you've got to glue together and then make your own framework, basically. But if you have a framework, it tells you, right, step 1, step 2, step 3, and it gives you a proper outline of what you need to do. A really good book on fitness is by a group called 3DMJ, and they have these books called The Muscle Pyramid and The Nutrition Pyramid. Essentially what they do in that book is they have a really good framework of how they're going to teach you. So the first bit of the nutrition pyramid, for example, says, right, if you want to get in shape, you have to understand what this pyramid is. So at the top of the pyramid, we have calorie deficit, then we have macros, then we have micros, then we have hydration, then it's sleep, and then it's, you know, or whatever else it's going to be. So now you can learn everything you need to know about nutrition inside that framework. I don't need to go and look at anything else or be confused. There's a very clear pathway for me to get from point A, which is not being in shape, to point B, which is being in shape. The second thing on being different is just being yourself, literally. That's what it comes down to, is don't try to be anybody else. Base it on your own experiences, because that's what makes you you. Like, if I'm gonna go and teach everything another videographer knows, well, what's the point? Like, whereas I can teach them from my perspective, which is, I started without a camera. I had to learn to shoot on borrowed cameras. I was on a very low budget. You know, this is all my story, so no one can compete with me because it's mine. And that's how you differentiate. That's how you become different.
If I was a complete beginner just coming into it and I was like, right, okay, I want to create a course about how women who have just had a baby can lose weight, and I've done it and I want to teach people how to do it, what is the easiest step-by-step way for me to start from start to finish to getting that course made, uploaded, sold?
So our course expert gives you literally the A to Z of how to do that. So I'd say start there. But if I had to kind of sum it up, essentially the steps are figuring out what problem you want to solve, which it sounds like you've already done that. Then who is it you're solving this problem for, which sounds like you've already done that. Then you create a framework. So your framework is, right, what are the steps this person has to take? So it might be like, right, step 1 might be mindset training, because if a lady's just had a baby, it might be like a bit of lack of confidence, it might be having to develop self-esteem, it might be having to, you know, it could be anything. Then it's like, right, let's start with the basics. We're gonna, you know, look at how to develop a healthy calorie deficit, and this is why we're gonna do it. You know, you just do it step by step in that way. So what's point A, and what are the steps they're gonna take to get to point B? This doesn't have to be massive, by the way. It can be literally 3 steps. It can be as many steps as it needs to be, essentially. It doesn't have to be this massive thing. Then it's creating the content. So If you want to create the content, you've got to look at how you want to do that. Do you want to do a presentation video? So is it just like PowerPoint videos? Do you want to sit on a camera and talk to the camera, which is what I would recommend because it's just so much more personable? Do you want to do a combination of both, which again is a great option because sometimes you might need like visual graphics or you might need to show stuff on a screen to help your customer like understand what point you're trying to get across. Once you've got that, you then need to look at how do you build the actual website. Now, thankfully these days there's so many platforms out there to allow you to create a membership site. Just a couple are Kajabi, which is good. There's ClickFunnels, which is good as well. Those are probably the only two that I'd recommend really. Like they're great platforms, they're not too expensive and they'll allow you to kind of get up and started pretty quickly. Once you've got your framework right, like let's say it's weight loss, just keep it easy. So now your framework takes somebody from point A to point B, yeah? Now, what you can do sometimes is if you want to create a sales funnel, which is more like you get somebody to pay for a certain part and then you get them to pay for the rest basically. It's like when you go to McDonald's, like a lot of people don't realize this, but if you go to McDonald's, you don't have to buy like burger and chips and a drink. You can just buy a burger, or you can just buy chips, or you can just buy a drink. But what they do is they cross-sell you and they upsell you. So when you go and say, I want a cheeseburger, they'll say, do you want fries with that? And that's literally the epitome of an upsell. It's like no one says no because your meal's incomplete without the fries or the chips, whatever. So that's how you got to look at your framework. It's like, right, it could be like for $27, I'm going to teach you how to calculate your calorie deficit and work out exactly what you need to eat. That's the first part of the program you can buy for $27. Right, now that you've done that, part B is what is the training regime that you're going to follow and how you're actually going to build muscle and do all the rest of it. That's part B and I'm going to sell you that for $47. That's what I did with my video course. So my first product, which was $17, was just about the script. So it taught people how to like create the script. And then the second part of it was how do you actually shoot the video. So all encompassing, you need all of it, but I split it into two products to create a sales funnel basically. The reason you do that is because it makes more money, like literally. And also it's a better experience for your customers as well because you're not overwhelming them with loads of stuff, you're giving them bite-sized stuff for micro learning as opposed to giving them a heap load of information that's just gonna be overwhelming. And then after that, it's getting it onto a platform. So you need Kajabi or you need ClickFunnels or some kind of membership site to put all the content on. Once you've got all that, it comes into the selling side of it. Yeah. So if you want, we could do a separate video on that, like, which might be quite useful. But for anybody that kind of wants to get into it straight away, I would just recommend going and checking out Expert because that's pretty much what it's about. Yeah, so basically, if you're serious about this, go check out Expert, which we will leave in the description box down below because you can purchase it, but you also get it on university on some. You do, yeah. If you're part of that, yeah. Yeah. Expert is basically an A to Z on how do you basically come up with an idea of what you're going to create, what kind of course it's going to be, how do you do all the targeting and segmenting the product and creating a sales funnel. It goes all the way from the theory of it to physical application as well. So how do you put the content together? How do you put your site together? All the marketing elements. So it talks about affiliates and how do you recruit them and all of that. So pretty much the entire business model essentially is within this course. And it's good to see the course because the principles we teach in the course is pretty much in the course itself. Yeah. So we've used the stuff to create the kind of practice what we preach essentially. So that's what Expert's about. If you want to kind of get access to all of our courses, you can join Viddyoze University. The university basically gives you access to essentially any info courses and products that we make, any training products that we make pretty much forever. Viddyoze University basically is like a subscription product, but you'll get access to more stuff for a lower cost, so it's better kind of going that way. So check it out because it makes sense for you to learn how to create a course by watching a course. Yeah. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like Joey said, make sure to leave a comment down below and give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to be subscribed and hit the notification bell because you will not know we have posted a video if you don't hit that bell, so it's very important. Also, check out Viddyoze. We are a custom animation company where you can make literally custom animations. You can tweak the colors, you can upload images, logos, you can even change the audio, and you can make yourself intros, outros, lower thirds, all the good stuff to make your videos and your courses that you're going to be creating now that you've seen this video 10 times better and 10 times more professional. So the link is always in the description box, and I will see you in the next episode.
probably on my own again because all by myself.